Alright, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Flaco. You know what I'm saying? I'm still here, still alive, still breathing. And shit, I want to confront, you know what I'm saying, a couple things, you know, because people, you know, ask me a couple questions about things been going on in my life and shit. And people worry, people don't understand. And I guess it's time for me I'm willing to share, you know, what's been going on in my life. And before all that, you gotta understand who I am and where I come from and what I see, you know, and shit. So, I mean, first of all, Mexican, shit, you can tell that, but I'm not your average regular Mexican, you know what I'm saying? See, I grew up by my grandparents, and we were not your typical Mexican either. You know, if you go to Mexico City, you got the Mexicans and you got the native Mexicans, you know what I mean? And how we grew up, where we come from, you know, my grandparents, they didn't dress like your average regular Mexican. When you go to the city in Mexico, they dress, they got their faldas, they got, you know, they're Indians, you know what I mean? They're native to the homeland, and that's something different. And I'm proud of that. I come from where I'm from, you know, because we were not out there with all the Mexicans. You know, my first memory in Mexico was seeing a house that was torn down, blown up, with just rocks. It was like in Durango or some shit. I was little, maybe 3 years old. That's the first image I have for me as a kid, you know. And it's not that we come from the struggle. It's that you got to think back and see what happened in the past. Like, you know, I'm proud to hear that my family was involved in like the Mexican Revolution and stuff. You know, my grandparents, their grandparents, all, you know. So after you go through a war, even if you win the war, you're still left with nothing because you got to rebuild and reconstruct, and that's where we were left off. And you know, they made it so far, and now we here. And but shit happened, you know. It's like everybody else's side, like I grew up. I remember one time said I was sick, I was gonna die, and then my grandma, she took me to this church, and then that's why I got this tattoo right here, because my grandma always, you know, used to pray to him. So she said she took me to this church. I was sick. I don't remember ever walking in the church, seeing anything. I remember just going in the bus, you know, seeing the lake with like canoes and shit, like, you know, balloons and shit. It was a badass image, you know, and I remember falling asleep, and that was it. And waking up, you know, back you know, my house. And since there, you know, she was different, you know. We was growing up. We started seeing shit. She wasn't the same, you know. We're not regular. You know, the only reason why we ended up here, my grandma died. And again, it's not your average death, you know what I'm saying? She died by lightning, you know, like 1 in a million chances a person can die type of shit, you know. So after that, I met my mom. And then we came over here, you know, they brought us over here. I remember before we came here too, in Querétaro, we went up to these mountains, and there was rocks that you would break, and they said the lightning would hit the rocks, you know, and I was stuck with me because of my grandma, you know. And then they say it was the sign of the Virgin Mary inside the rock when you break it open, you know. I'm not a much firm believer because I got somewhat of a other understanding that makes me question a lot of things, but that's the belief in that area. Well, I came here, I used to, you know, write in Spanish and like poems and shit, you know. And it only went so far, maybe like 6th grade tops. You know, I learned English after that. And, you know, I moved to the hood or whatever, and it was rap, it was all types of stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, so, you know, I didn't really start writing in English till I was in middle school. I found somebody balled up a note and some shit and threw it like in one of them fake little plants they have in the hallway. I just happened to pick it up. It had some rhymes in there, and I'm like, man, this shit's whack. You know what I mean? I write better shit in Spanish back in the day. And well, from that point, I took it in my journal, wrote some shit, and shit was dope. Then, one day it was raining, walking home from school like every day, and my journal fucked up. I had shit packed in there. That's one journal. And I used to lose all my journals all the time, or some shit would happen to them, but I would write shit on them hoes. Shit, I wish I had them. If I knew now, shit. Same deal has happened with like my computers and shit. I've had a computer, I have songs in there, recorded, everything ready, and boom, that hoes fuck up, But it's a struggle being Mexican, doing it yourself. But it's just, it just started happening as I grew up as well, I came here, not much, memories. I know my first best friend died. He used to draw like Dragon Ball Z shit, and in school they passed out like copies of all his drawings and shit. Then was in a car crash, he flew out the window or some shit. So since then I didn't really have much friends, because we used to go to the same school, we used to live next door apartment type shit, and we didn't even have much friends and shit after that. But shit, my bad, I get sidetracked. I go back into memories that I forget, It's just part of what I became. So we're back on here. I always told myself when I first heard SPM, I was like, I'm finna work for that nigga. I didn't even know it myself, a couple months later probably, I met Sylvia Coy, his sister, and boom, I was hooked up with a boot at the Traders Village, got my art product, and I was probably about 12, 13 years old, and I did it for years, probably till I was still in my 20s, out there selling CDs and shit, making my bank deposits, making my money, paying my own phone bills in the early age, And it was the way to go for me, because, it was better than selling drugs. Cause I'm like, niggas out here, I sold dope before, and I'm like, you ain't making as much money as if you sell a CD. So why you investing your time in something that's prison time, that's fucking you up in life? And over here, I make a CD, I can make fucking 10 times what it's worth, off of one CD, a million copies, $1, that's $1 million regardless. So I stuck with the game. I moved to Houston for a bit. I traveled out there, but people they didn't understand shit that was going on in my life. When I was 16, I OD'd. I basically died. No lie. I have no memory of what happened for like a day or two. I just woke up in my house. I had different clothes on, and that was it. The only thing I remember is having a dream, just seeing all white, and a white dude in all white coming at me, and I was strapped up, being held to a bed or something. That's all I remember. But you imagine, just waking up, you open your eyes and you see this shit, like what the fuck, you tied up to a bed. And then this is real life. This is something that happened for real. This is not a dream. This is the actual happening reality, I was basically in the hospital. I was strapped up to a bed, and I came back to life. I was dead, All I remember, it wasn't me that really came back like that, but I felt the feeling of that I was in hell and I was fighting, and I just broke through, I just remember some shit, I'm the Aztec king. That's the nigga said, I was fucked up, but he just came back saying I'm the king, nigga. Get the fuck off me. Don't touch me. Basically, that's what he said. It wasn't a dream. This is real life. This is not me. It's the actions that happen. My family to this day won't tell me what happened, what I said. They did say I made my grandpa cry. Said some shit like this is what you showed me or some shit. But And definitely I don't know who or what, why I came back like that. Now, that incident happened yet again when I got with my baby mama. And I was with some of their relatives. We were sipping it up, chilling. I went outside to pee, and I was pissing, and all of a sudden I just knocked down to the floor, and I was crawling. And I turned back, and it was her aunt. And I don't know what happened. Something weird happened there. I remember crawling back to the bed and telling my baby mama that I was the king or some shit about something. You know, this is, again, I don't know why it happened. The same personality that was at that moment came at that time. Yeah. And after that, and during all this time, I was working for Dope House, selling my CDs, being seen all over, Texas, all over, U.S. So and people that I don't even know see me, and know me out there. So probably Mexico too, So while all this shit's going on in my life, I'm doing good. I got my 2 shops, selling my CDs. I got my 2 cars. You know what I'm saying? I'm living player style, and I'm only 17. You know what I mean? I got my own business. And then after that, just shit went tumbling down. And I was gonna go back to Mexico, way back then. It was 2012, my son's birthday, and I made a promise, like, that's it. If this day, if I don't get a job this day, I'm going back to Mexico. On the spot, I got a phone call. It's just like some shit like out of this world type, like something they didn't want me to leave, keep me here or something, But shit, I got that job. That's where I started, into printing, and from there I came up. So now I run my own printing business, you know what I'm saying? Check my website out, cdd.us, shit. It's fucked up shit after I figured that shit out. It's www.c or backwards is 666.us, which is some crazy tricked out shit that I didn't find out till later on. And but it makes sense, this is Devil's Playground right here. Come, US World Wide Web, c666.us, nigga. You really want to be a headhunter out here, it's a hustler's world, that's all it means. If you ain't ready to fight that war, then why you out here, hustling for it? Growing up, we grew up with, crazy stories, with like your own act of this and that, and niggas wasn't scared by shit. Niggas would go out there and do something about it, you know what I'm saying? And I see niggas out here be scary and shit, like people hear about shit like that and they get scary, that they talk about Illuminati and niggas get scary and shit. Niggas talk about, witchcraft, niggas get scary and shit. Niggas, talking about shooting now they want to have balls and shit, you know what I mean? So it's a whole different thing out here. Went through some shit, after that. Somebody told me about that instant. That's why that instant stayed in my mind when I was drinking in baby mama's house. Somebody told me something happened to me there. We went on. This was my mom coming to me and letting me know all this stuff too. And then, Mom always tried to do good, I guess, watch out for the kids. So she went out and, looked for every type of way that I could get some help or something. And she found this dude who did some shit, you know what I mean? They like, that's some ancient shit, like this nigga does like animal sacrifices and all types of shit, like, you know what I'm saying? But he read my story, whatever, and who I was and what I am, and this shit that been going on. And after that, just shit started, You know, it's God's plan, you know, God's road, you know. I mean, because before I even know that, you know, I pray to God like that, you know, just honest in my heart. If he's out there, you know, he's gonna listen to me or whatever. It doesn't matter what I do, what I think, you know, he's out there following me. And if it's somebody else, he ain't got he ain't got nothing on me, you know, regardless. That's the reason why I got this tattoo right here. I pray to God, you know, when I was getting it, I was like, you know, let me your son's strength, you know, his heart's strength. And it's in my flesh for it, you know what I mean? I'm out here. It's, you know, I ain't no bitch. I know I'm gonna die. If I go to hell, you know, I ain't gonna be no bitch in there either. So when niggas say that shit, oh yeah, cool, you know, whatever. But niggas gonna walk, you know, in the real life, like if you gonna say that shit, oh, you know, take me down or whatever, I'm gonna go down with a fight or whatever. But you ain't out here really doing it, you know. So I basically would taunt shit, you know, like ain't shit can touch me out here because you knock me down, I'm coming back up here, or I'm going down there and getting your ass, you know. And that's just the strength, the courage that was in me. But after this, it's not that I would start seeing shit or hearing shit, but I would notice shit. And I don't know if part of this happened when I went to East Texas. I started meditating, and at the same time I started meditating, I started taking advanced mental enhancement pills to advance your mentality, right? And I'm meditating at the same time with different frequencies and stuff, you know, and you know, discovering shit that people, you know, seem to ignore, you know. I guess I was able to draw, you know, energy towards me or whatever, or something saw me as a threat. I don't know, but I felt the clash. Me and something else were going at it. And it was something you couldn't talk about. You can't describe it because it's a mental battle. It's not a physical battle. It's how strong can you keep your head up. You know what I'm saying? Don't pay attention to what you see, what you hear. Nothing is real. You know, like the path of your heart, basically. Así como llama el camino del corazón. You know, you follow your heart. You know what's right. You know what's good. No matter what you see, what you hear. No matter what's out here, man. And this shit started fucking with me, you know, like this wasn't even the drugs, this was nothing, you know, I blame it on a couple of drugs, but because I was smart enough to see what was going on. I could see that shit was going on. I was being studied on. I could see, you know, like people were watching me, so it was crazy, man. It started with all that, you know, meditating and doing all that shit too. I remember when it started, I was at my homeboy's house. I used to stay with him, old school T. After I started practicing, like, oh, niggas talk about telekinesis and shit, I started practicing with water and shit, right? And then it was just me, but I would see the wave kind of move a little bit and shit. And then I was figuring some shit out with my homeboy. We were putting some mathematical equations about God being real and the devil and what are the odds. But this is a mathematical language with equations. We came to a certain conclusion that with mathematical language, it didn't matter our race, color, or background. We came to the same understanding, you know, using that. And shit, at that time, man, I was doing even I'll be testing my own theories out, like time and shit. Like I did some shit like that dude that died that was in the wheelchair did. Like he threw a birthday party for like a time traveler and shit. But it was a theory that made total sense. But I had done that shit before. with a note. But I made a promise. In my heart, I told one thing. In my mind, I told another, right? And I put that note, and I saved it for somebody to find in the future. That I wasn't going to touch it. And that whatever it said, it was going to affect the future, right? Whoever saw it. And then I feel like glitches started happening in life. You know, like I did something in life where I started setting a glitch, and it started tripping me out. And especially because my homeboy, the one where we came up with this equations and stuff, you know, he would see it. He was seeing it take place, and it's just when like a primate becomes, you know, the head of the tribe, whatever. That's what it was starting to become. Even my homeboy told me, he showed me a video. He's like, hey, you need to pay attention to this. This is what happens in nature. And, you know, you're a human too, but it's happening to you too. And, you know, it shows how, you know, you just could reach up to some level. Like, even some primates can get girls pregnant without even touching them. Like, that's how strong the energy is. And you become like the apex, you know, basically, you know. The dominant, you know, being, I guess. And it just started tripping me out, man. I was going out the house. I would start seeing people actually taking pictures, you know what I mean? Like I would be driving, and people would have other cars be driving, and I would see people taking us pictures of us coming out and shit. And the thing that freaked me out, it didn't make no sense, that I had basically, like, you could say, all my chakras aligned. I could feel it. I was meditating. I went outside. I don't know what was going on. Something in my heart, I could feel that I could do anything. You know, I could put my mind to it. On the spot, I had the strength to do anything. I pointed at a star and I moved it. And my homework came out. He said, you can't be doing that. That's against the laws of nature, basically. And so I had to move it back. And I'm like, how the fuck did this nigga know? Yeah, that's what I did. But it was weird that, because after that, next morning I got up to go get a haircut, and then they called the cops on me at the barbershop. But during that whole time, I sensed, you know, this presence of your sixth sense. You know you're being watched. You know something's happening around you. You know, maybe it's not a physical, maybe it's a spiritual realm. You know, so I'm getting my haircut. I'm having this mental war. You know what I mean? But they called the cops on me, and it was just this code that I had cracked with my homeboys, mathematical code about God being real. And it just made you so sure about the world that you live in, where you have zero doubt. You know, where you live in the prayer, basically. Now you're not out here praying for something, but you're living it. After that, I mean, I cracked the code, man. And it was scary. It was scary to have so much knowledge, where your eyes are clear to life, and you can basically, you know, see everything in life. You know how everything works, and clear. You know, you have no obstacles in everything you do, and it's just an ultimate strength that I can't understand. You know. But I ended up in jail, and then when I was in jail, something happened. Like, it's like my nervous system reacted, or this person that was in me reacted, and I was in there, and I was meditating, and I was praying, but there was too many sensors on the walls. It was like, it wasn't a regular cell, you know what I mean? And then I heard the Virgin Mary singing. They were singing the Virgin Mary, and I heard people, and I could see it visually clearly. People were walking, carrying the Virgin Mary. But in my heart, I knew something that, you know, that was stronger than that. I knew that was fake. I knew I was put into a test. basically they were trying to figure out where I came from, what religion I was, or where I was drawing my strength from. That was my understanding. And as soon as I came to that conclusion, in my head, the feeling was, with my heart, everything I felt was like, they said, we're coming for you. And I told them, I'm not ready. Give me more time. Like, I'm not done fighting. And I was just there, and I started working out. But through all this, I'm figuring out in my thoughts, and shit is happening as my thoughts are happening. So is it me causing these things, or is it something reading my thoughts, moving stuff around me that's reacting, based on what I do? Basically kind of like the Matrix, so I do something, somebody else comes back and covers it up. But I knew shit like that was happening, but I had to stay calm. Next day I was released through that. They actually drove me all the way to where I live. My friend, he came up to me and he gave me a kiss on the forehead, and he said I had scratches across my throat, my neck, and then I didn't even know, you know what I mean? He sat down with me and he said, I'm sorry. He said, I believe in you. Whatever you're gonna do. I mean, this dude, he had some type of understanding of what was going on, Basically, he asked for forgiveness. Forgive me, and he told me, I want to be there when I hope you forgive me and you take me up there with you when you go up there, basically what he said. He told me, I'm sorry. Yeah, we took your son and he just wouldn't die, We'll cut him in pieces, we do everything, and he would just come back to life. And he's like, we finally just put him in acid and he just never came back. And it's something whether he was fucking with my head or he had to understand or something was taking place, a timeline or something was being distorted. After that, I ran into the room, I grabbed that note and I trashed it. Boom. And then all that stopped. But then it was something I had discovered that it was still intrigued in my mind. Like, all that shit started happening because I did an experiment on some note, that I wasn't based off my thoughts. Like, something knew what I was thinking, but didn't, and then reacted a different way when I changed my thoughts, or my emotions, basically. And it's fucking real. I mean, imagine a satellite that can scan your brainwave, you know what I mean? Basically tell what you're thinking. Maybe it's not our technology, maybe somebody else's technology, The shit that tripped out, or when I finally moved there, it took me to my mom's house because I knew something was going on. But before that, I had this girl come in my house. She had a tattoo of Santa Muerta all in her back. But me being, either being stupid or courageous, I paid that bitch to clean my house, and then I fucked the shit out that hoe, and in my mind, like, man, La Muerta ain't shit, I got this bitch bent over and I'm fucking that hoe, fuck that, they couldn't touch me, you know what I mean? They can't. But she was talking about, like, there's a church here in Dallas that it actually talks to you, you know what I mean? And then it drew me back to the things that I had gone through, right? And like she said, that this shit can talk to you. Like, man, that shit, somebody can fuck with your head. Like, don't believe that shit. You gotta stay strong in your heart, you know. That's what I try to tell her. But then after that, it was some weird shit. Like, my mentality was ahead in time. You know, like I knew what was gonna happen on TV before it even happened. And it freaked out my homeboy. That's why I ended up moving. Like police came out, SWAT came out, it was a TV. And I just flat out told them, you know, you're never gonna find me. Y'all can dig as much as y'all want. The only thing y'all ever gonna find is oil. And sure enough, I said that shit. I didn't even know it was on TV. I just saw police coming out, and this is what came out of me. You know, this wasn't me talking. This is just what came out of me, just out of my, without even thinking, without using my mind, without nothing. It was just words that came out. You know? And in that TV, like they took out a metal detector, was scanning the ground, and they started digging, and then they hit again, and then oil came out. You know what I mean? And after that, it just started tripping me out. But I was like, nah, somebody fucking with me. I was like, you know, somebody's playing the game. All right, we're gonna be at it. All right, cool. I'm gonna hold it down right here. I'm gonna stay as strong as I can. But you know, I know what's up now. And then, so my mom thinking that something else is going on. You know, something's wrong with my mind, this and that. She takes me to the hospital. I'm watching TV, I'm seeing whatever's taking place. You know, I'm meditating, I got my eyes closed. This shit is happening, people don't see it. I can hear it, I can see it. You know, I hear swords clashing and people dying and shit, you know, like, and I know it, you know, maybe somebody's defending me and something's coming at me and something's there, you know, maybe it's me, my strength pushing back. It's basically like having the responsibility of the world, you know, because you understand what's out here and you can fight back at it. You know what I mean? Like this thing cannot take you down. But then something happened. It took me from one place to another, and then. In this other place, they started studying on me. I could see it. It was not doctors. It was advanced equipment. You know, it was too technological. You know, I've been to a music producer. You know, like a studio. I know what all the keyboards, everything. You know, like this was not a hospital. You know, and they're working my mind. They're studying to see what I can do and what's happening and what I can see. And I can sense these other beings around me are gathering, you know, waiting for me to slip. It's weird shit starts happening there, and it's like I'm being used, but I'm participating as well. It was during like the hunt down of like Osama bin Laden or some shit, I think. And then I was in there, and they were, you know, I was seeing who was the guilty. You know, in my mind, I'm working who was the one that was guilty. And then I'm questioning everybody. I'm being the detective there, and everybody that actually works there is letting me do my thing, and everybody who's there, I'm questioning basically mentally, you know, not physically, but with my energy, like Professor X type shit. You know what I mean? Like I go into your mind. And I can tell you, bribe you, and tell you I'll give you anything you want. I'll give you gold, I'll give you eternal life, I'll give you 50 virgins. You know, this was me questioning people, tricking them. You know, they were going to sleep. And it was me going into their head and telling them this shit. Do anything you like, and I'll bring you back to life. I'll give you eternal life. And these people were falling for it. They would wake up and be like, oh shit, was that just real? Did I just do that? I was putting images in their head, and I don't know how I was doing it, but it was happening. And then just one time, just this dude came up, you know, they all got worried and shit. But before that, there was this guy that had his hair combed back, and I looked at his paperwork, and it tripped me out because it had my dad's name, you know. And he basically just said, are you sure you're gonna do this? You know, you're not gonna see me anymore. You're never gonna see me again if you do this shit. I knew they were fucking with me. I don't give a fuck. You know, you're my dad, so what? And he spoke out on them, you know, and he turned to my side, you know, because he got up from the other guys that were asleep. And basically, there were some that were right there meditating against me, basically. And we were all, it was a mental showdown with basically other beings, you know, spirits and people, I guess, I don't know. But after that, this guy finally got up and he said, y'all better listen up and wise up real quick, because this guy's gonna figure out. He's working the caves. He's figuring all this shit out little by little. He's gathering clues, and he's gonna get us all. And they all finally got up from that room and they took us, because everybody was now following me. And I went into that room, and as soon as I stepped into that room, people saw me and they're agitated, and they wanted to go outside and smoke. So they went outside and they smoked. And I remember passing by a room, and there was a naked girl with a snake tattoo in her back. Shit happened. It was hard to understand this shit, but I seen like a dragon portrayed, and then, you know, basically nothing had happened to this child. You know, nobody could hurt this child. Some shit like that. You know, it was tripped out, because it was scary being surrounded by all the beings that I did not know who they were. You know what I mean? I just finished doing all this other shit, and now I'm stuck in another room with people that I don't even trust. Like, I could disappear right now and nobody will give a fuck. Nobody will know. You know, a lot of shit happened in that place, and I'll tell it jumping around from things to things. I don't know if it's in the right order. They brought this body out. This dude came out in the hood. They brought a body out. It looked like my brother, and they put him on the couch. I still didn't see this person's face, but he kneeled down and he grabbed that dude's hand, his vein, and he bit on it. And then I seen the body of this person just start decaying. And I'm sitting on the couch. People are surrounding me, and they're doing this to a person in front of me that looks like my brother. Psyching me out, you know. That's just me. And my heart's still staying strong. Don't let nothing out here, you know, fuck with your head. You know, like, you stay strong in your heart. You know. There was a point in time where I felt weakness, and I felt that they're gonna command me and do the same. But for some reason, I had a friend named Eliza, and we had a deep conversation. And for some reason, I woke him, and he started bleeding from his nose, you know, because I cracked his skull. You know, his mentality he's a real smart guy, but nobody ever talked to him the way I talked to him, opened his mind. And he just started bleeding out after, you know, I finished talking to him. And in that moment, I remember his name, Eliza. And I remember in the Bible by Elias, and he stopped the rain. And I was scared at the moment. I was weak, my knees were shaking, I shit in my pants. But I gathered the courage, and in my heart, I called on Elias, just like God did. Elias, make it rain. And it was like these beings were looking at me, and they were coming right, they're gonna come straight at me, and in that exact moment it started raining. And they stepped back. They were like amazed, you know. And shit was crazy. Like from that moment on, nobody touched me. They just walked around looking at me. And this is not stuff that I'm saying. This is stuff that I was doing in my mind. You know, putting into play in my mind. And it was just me meditating, speaking in my mind. But shit was happening. Like, how many times can you say rain and it starts raining? You know what I mean? But these people gathered around me. I laid down. I was feeling tired. But before that, yeah, there was this old guy I seen there. And he was scared to eat, and he had like needles all over his hand, like marks of acupunctures all over his hand. And then his name was Gabriel. And he was stuck in it. He was old. He had white hair. And he wore a robe. And this happened after I seen the dragon basically. Well, no, I seen the dragon after him. He disappeared. He was scared to eat. And I fed him cereal. And there was another guy in front of him, had a robe, big beard too, long hair, white hair. And then he asked me, who was I? And then I'm like, I'm just a kid from the street. I'm nobody. And he told me, I'm a homeless too. I don't got a house, nowhere to go. And then he's like, ¿Sabes quién es él? And I'm like, no. He's like, that's Gabriel, but he's just a baby right now. He still can't deal with all this. And he was a grown-ass man, you know, but an old dude, you know, and he was eating, and he was like, he couldn't believe, you know, what he was doing. I told him, look, the ingredients is here. It's like he's never ate in his life, you know what I mean? Like, he would never eat. That's how he looked. And I explained to him, look, there's the ingredients, everything's placed in it. It's not going to kill you. Like, he was scared of something in this world. Like, he wasn't from this world, you know? And then I went with the other person to the restroom. There was another being that was short, this black lady. It was this short. And estaba jorobada, had a big old hump in her back. But she kept looking at me, looking like a little demon and shit, walking around there. And the other dude with the beard is like, don't worry about it. Went to the restroom. And through this whole thing, I'm doing prayers, right? And I'm praying in my mind and staying strong. And basically this thing is saying, let's see how far this nigga is willing to go for God. You know, I'm fighting out here with something's out here testing me. Like, this nigga has God in his heart. He's out here moving stars, he's out here doing this. He's seeing through my illusions. How far can he stay that strong? And that's the battle I was going through. And this dude just told me, go in the stall, sit down, keep doing what you're doing. And I went in there, I meditated, I was praying. I came out and he had disappeared. And Gabriel, he got up, he went to his room, he kneeled down. And in my mind, he was gone. Like, he just kneeled in the ground and he looked up to the sky and he was gone. That's when I seen the dragon and all that shit about you can't touch this child and stuff. And it was hard to stay up, you know. But that's not the first time I seen that shit. One time I was driving when I was little, and I seen the shadow of something jump from one cloud to another. You know. And people still to this day might not believe me, you know, I was little. When I was falling asleep there, Everybody surrounded me, and then I disappeared. My mom couldn't find me. My brother couldn't find me. I disappeared for about a week or two. And I ended up in some other place. When I came to, I was in some place. They gave me a haircut. And I was with some other people that had gone through similar shit. I forgot this place was called, but they thought something was... They said that I got on my mom went in there and she asked how did I end up in there. They said I went in a bus and I drove there and I got off and I went in there. I never seen this place. I don't know this place. I was out in the country, you know, where not the city where nobody fucking knows what happens. You know what I mean? A fucking facility out in the fucking country. Gates, fences, barbed wire. You know, it's just in your, you know, waking up to it ain't a regular place to wake up to. I had a dream where I was there. A lot of kids came crying to me. They were crying. And it was like I was God in that dream. And the kids were crying. They're like saying, where did you go? We've been looking for you this whole time. And when I woke up, I was all wet. Well, not all wet. My bed was all wet. But I was not wet. And I got up and I had cicatrices, you know what I mean? I had like rings. Like if I had rings on, I'm not going to tell you where. I was told not to say where. Like a ring had burned on my finger. And I went out. This is just me coming to. I went out and this lady that was there pregnant, her name was Maria. She told me that's the promise that I made that I was gonna be Mexico's president. I didn't understand what was going on. I had another guy in there that said, you know, he used to sell crack. He had millions of dollars. The feds, you know, took all his bank accounts, froze him up. Another guy there that said he was touched by God, and he wrote down a whole paragraph of like a home improvement show before it even aired. And I was like, damn, what the fuck? I kind of did some shit like that. You know what I mean? It was weird, man, and all the Mexicans started following me when I was there. You know, all the Mexicans would gather around me, and they were ready to see it. So then, since I was the leader of all the Mexicans, they switched me to another room because that one was with different people. And it was weird. It was all different races. You had Muslims there. You had Germans there. You had all types of different people, you know, from different ethnicities. I remember one time they put me in a black room. And that was it. You know, I don't remember waking up from there. And I had something happen before that, though. When I was at the other place. Let me see if that comes back to me. But basically, I had to do 2 weeks there. I got out. Oh yeah. There was something in the air that I was breathing when I was in the clinic. I know that I screamed it out. There's something in the air. Something's gonna happen with the sun. It's gonna blow up. And then some guys were doing some experiments there, and I called them out. And then some researchers, they just grabbed their equipment, their laptops, and they ran out the building. So I knew I was right. You know what I mean? And this is stuff going on, you know, like I'm saying some things, I'm thinking some things, and I'm feeling other things. You know, I'm not letting whatever's coming at me take full control of my body, you know. I know everything, all my moves and what I'm doing. I come out, everything's regular, everything's cool. Let me see some others, you know, I hook up with my chick. I moved here to Dallas, you know, start working. And then some more shit starts happening, you know. When I hook up with my girl, more things start happening. At the end of the matter, one time I'm speaking, you know, to God, praying again, you know, we're fighting, and I'm talking to God, and tell me what I need to do. I need to lead my people or whatever. And so the being and the eagle shows up at the ground, and then all this shit happened, and I get into a relationship and I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? I was praying, eagle showed up, man. It looked like it was seeing a snake, but it was a rat. Crazy shit. Before that, I was seeing a picture of an eagle that was getting eaten by a rat, and it was a picture of Mexico, the emblem of Mexico's flag, and they made a meme about it where a rat was eating the eagle. Las ratas de Mexico, basically. And then I see that I go and I pray, and I see that shit in front of my eyes. Eagle eating rat, all its intestines pulling it out. And I kneel down to it. It's right in front of me, and it posts up. And I'm praying to it, and it's telling me, what I need to do and shit. I need to, lead my people out of what they're stuck in. Their mentality is broken, and then shit that they've been lied to. And I was like, fuck it. If I have to go to Mexico, I have to go to Mexico and do it. But shit starts happening too around there. One time we were getting high, and then I start meditating while I'm there getting high with them. They don't know I'm meditating, right? But it's like I break through something while I'm meditating, and boom, and I can see something spying on me. It's two beings talking, and one has like a white, like a Man in Black type shit suit. And the other one, I cannot tell what type of being it is, but it's talking to the other one. The other one's calling on the other one's abilities to understand what I'm doing. And then the other being tells him, it's your fault, y'all created him, and now he's more advanced. So basically, whatever was happening in the past, I advanced, my mind advanced, because of the shit that was going on. But I clearly heard this shit, this discussion they had, and it just broke my mind. Like, I couldn't stop shaking because it was reality. I know I'm finding something out here. I know there's something out here, and how to talk to my brother and my girl about it, And it was just this presence I felt all around me, and I could see it, she was taking place. People wonder why I walked to the dope house in Dallas, Houston. It was just something that in my heart I knew I had to do something. Me and my chick got in a fight, and then we were not gonna plan on not being together anymore. So now I can fully on go with what I need to do in life and head this course. So I was talking to my uncle, and he was telling me, like, if you're gonna be a badass, you gotta learn to survive. Basically, how the army trains people. You gotta survive 7 days in the sea. You gotta survive 7 days in the ocean. 7 days in the ocean, 7 days in the jungle, 7 days in the desert. And and he said the hardest war is gonna be in the city, so you gotta learn to survive 7 days in the city. So I took upon me to start training, and I said, all right, 7 days in the city, I'm gonna survive without anything. If the war goes takes down, I'm gonna be ready. I'm a warrior. I know I'm fighting something out here, and I got something to prove, and I gotta make that connection. And something's following me out here. So I start walking, and I'm just cleaning the air, cleaning the ground, asking God, cleanse the spirit that around me, and then just things start happening in the road, like meant to be things. I start meeting people, shit starts happening. I got to this one place, I met this German dude, kid's around my age. He was born October 25. Say he saw a shooting star, but at that time he told me something was activated, some fucking army code that he told me, but I hadn't smoked until then, and I hit weed and I meditated, and something happened where he seen my strength and who I was, and he called his friend, and he's like, it's true. And then this, this dude has a German phone, you know what I mean? I had his phone number. But he said this code, about shit, and he told me how in Oklahoma all the Indians had already came together. When I did the trip, all the Indians in Oklahoma came together to let everybody know that in the end we're all gonna be one race, and that we need to stop fighting and all this stuff. And I knew I was taking some leadership, and I was showing up there, But before that, remember? No, it's after. I'm not sure, but things started partying there, playing on there, and then I knew I had to make it to Mexico, but in Houston, my homeboy, I wrote him a book that just explained everything about what was going on and hidden message in this book. And I told him to save it. One day I'm gonna come to it, and it's gonna have a meaning to it. I appreciate everything Jose did, and he sent me back. But my mom had done something, and she went to some people, and she said she did something so I can come back. And then when I came back here, it was my girl got pregnant. I got her pregnant, but it was the bang that when I died came when I was 16 when I OD'd. He came back and we had like bomb ass sex, it was crazy, but it was the bang that was in me that came out. And he was here ready to fight. He went over there to Houston. He gathered up energy, and he came back ready to fight. So then they took me to these people, right? And then this dude started talking in a different language. He sat me down. I started meditating. When I meditate, I got right here. I can make it massage right here, vibrate, and it's badass. I didn't think it was possible till you could actually feel it here. And so he goes in front of me, and this dude shows up. All right, you want this kid's body? Come on at it. I don't know why I said that in my mind. It was the person in me. He was ready for this. My girl knew somebody was following us. We were being, watched. We had seen some people that said that they were doing stuff to us. They wanted to break us apart. We were too strong together. And that's when this lady told me, dragons are looking over you. Because I told her the stuff that I seen, And then I was like, shit, then what, they're real, what the fuck? And then this lady basically, she's born with ability because she can tell stuff like that. She can read, your hand, your cards, whatever. So then I'm in front of this dude, and he starts chanting and singing in different, and I start feeling sleepy, right? But you ain't going down, nigga. He gets up, se para, y dice, no puedo yo, necesito más energía. And he calls on the person that showed him, this other bigger guy, and he comes and he sits down, he starts meditating, and we're like, what's up then? All right, come on at me. And then we're going at each other, and he's chanting and doing his other language, and they tell me to step out, and then they don't tell me what the fuck. And then this other younger cats come, and he's like, he basically comes out and tells me, so many people want you dead, but nobody can touch you. We can give you everything you want. Just bring us these animals. We're gonna do a sacrifice. You're gonna be famous. All the opportunities in life are gonna open up. You're gonna be, singing, rapping, whatever you want. Like, you defeated a demon, he said. You know, and this shit wants to come back at you. Whoever is over this demon wants to come at you, basically. But les arde que no te pueden hacer nada. And it's like, but let us do this, and everything's gonna work in your favor. And while they're telling me this, then I see my girl, my mom come out. My girl comes out crying, and then I'm like, what the fuck? What did they tell them? I don't know. They were left alone. These two girls left alone. What did this guy do? You know, in my mind, you know, I'm over here having a mental fight with this dude. This other dude was telling me about me fighting a demon, and these people that are in the cult, right? These people are family members, are in there. They have to do blood sacrifices to be in there, I guess, and all this shit. And she comes out crying, and then we're driving back in the car, and she said, yeah, because they said that you was on bars. And then we both look at each other like, what the fuck, you was on bars? Man, your ass don't do bars. And I'm like, that's right, hell yeah, I don't do bars, what the fuck? Like, them people are fucking stupid, you know, but in my mind, I'm thinking, what the fuck did they tell these people? And then, boom, she plays a song, and then something happens, boom, like, again, I'm meditating again, and I zone out, and the radio is the devil talking to me. And basically it's giving me everything I want. Just like these people said. You want to be famous, you want to sing, whatever, everything. And my heart is beating fast, and my mind is thinking, my mind is being deceived and going with what's being said because it's happening and it's real, and this. But my heart is beating and staying strong to myself. Well, after that, it's just me picturing a lot of beings with hoods on, and they're asking me to drink basically blood. You know, I had to drink blood, and through this whole thing, me and my girl in the car, and we're driving, right, and we see a cloud shaped like a dope. And then she doesn't know what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, and she's just there holding my hand. And then I'm staying strong. You know, the devil's out here trying to get me, and I'm trying to stay strong. Not saying nothing, staying focused with my girl, smiling, giving her a kiss. And he starts showing me how much power he can give me. And then I take control of the music. He starts playing music, and that's how I know it's not shit. Shit is real, because it's actual music playing, and I got control of the voice. Drake comes on the radio, and every lyric that my heart has in it that is beating is singing. It's not a Drake song, it's his voice, but it's every word that I'm feeling in my heart being sung. So if I had a pen and paper at that moment and I wrote that shit, it was a song being played live. It's like if Drake was playing for me live, and it was some satanic devilish shit, man. Because he was showing me this is the power. And we went to a quinceañera right during that time, and he's doing this shit during this whole time. All right, because this is after we come from these people, and my family don't know what the fuck's going on, what I'm dealing with, and then we're at the table, and the quinceañera's dancing and we're playing. I don't hear none of the music that's being played in the quinceañera. What I hear is the music that's coming out of here, and the devil talking to me. You know, and it was hard to stay strong. My girl kind of noticed, like, something was wrong with you that day. It wasn't you. It was somebody else. And nah, it wasn't me. It was somebody else being in my body, you know. And it happened after I came out of this place. I mean, same shit happened to her. One time she came crying to me. She said she heard my little girl crying. You know, and it was just people I'm trying to, you know, separate as hurt as, and maybe somebody that wanted her. You know what I mean? people didn't know all this shit that was going on, you know, and people were like, damn, that nigga flipped out, he started doing drugs, he's doing shit. And then I'm like, man, nah, nigga, I was out here fighting this shit, or y'all out here being a little bitch about shit, and I could finally come up, you know, and say it, you know, like, fuck, if the devil wanna come at me, let him come at me, I'm strong enough to face him now, you know, I could talk about it now, I went through it now, you know, these people are real, you know, my mom's been there, she knows, you know, they can't blame it on no fucking mental illness, you know what I mean? Can't blame it on the drugs. But it was a lot. I was fighting a lot at the moment. I had answers to a lot of things. I wrote down a lot of things. And I mean, just this being that's in me. I mean, my mom took me to get a exorcism, you know. She took me to a church, you know, and then they started praying, you know, the nuns started praying, and the being in me started crying. But I wasn't gonna let them have it. I had him under control. I figured, you know, if I let him out, somebody else would have that knowledge that he has, or whatever he is, or, you know, and take advantage of it. So why let him out, right? And I held him strong. You know, I was crying, and they were praying, and my girl was watching. My little girl was watching. My mom was there. But they think that they only saw me crying. They didn't understand why I was crying. But it was just me and God having a conversation. You know, I was crying, telling them to forgive me. Look at what they're doing to me. They don't understand what I'm out here fighting for. They don't understand that I want to set them free. They don't understand that like, God, this is me and you talking. You understand what's out here, you know. And finally, God gave me that peace, and I stopped crying. I was like, yeah, you know, let them, you know, that's cool. It's them, you know. And we have an understanding. You're fighting another war. You know, they're not involved in the fight. You know. Shit that people don't understand is, like I said, I don't come from a Mexican side. I come from more from a half Mexican, half Native side. This being just being able to open my mind and just have a clear view of what happened in the past and how blind my people had been, and it's time for me to get up and lead, you know, and I'm back in the game, you know. If y'all want to think I'm bullshitting, I know I'm not the only first one that's been through this, but I can play the mind games with this shit, and I'm good at it now. You know? Yet again, you know, it could be some artificial intelligence or some shit, you know, reading your mind, brainwave shit, because this shit reacts, you know, and that shit I hear, it reacts, you know, it's like some Nikola Tesla shit, you know. I granted wisdom, you know, through this, you know. But then I know this is some long shit. It's a whole life I'm trying to intake, and it's this shit that's tripping even my own cousin out, because he's like, you know, he didn't have no understanding of what was going on. I know we went to San Antonio, we did a show, we were there. I was trying to explain to him some type of way, but I know I got up and I felt something in my heart where I pulled out my heart, and it was just something where I was just ready to fight, you know. It's a sacrifice. I sacrificed my own heart. I drank out my own heart. Then how many people can actually do that and feel it with their spirit, you know? But I'm here, you know. I was gonna go back to Mexico and gather my people there and go and get some wisdom of what was going on, some understanding of my past, so I can better, you know, guide everybody else, you know, because I knew, like, all them Salvadorans, Honduras, I knew all the people were coming over here, and if I went to Mexico and I gathered my senses right and you know, I had to better understand what I was fighting over here. Then I would come prepared with a bunch of people, you know what I mean? And that's why I had to do it walking. You know, I had to figure out which way was the best route. But I didn't make it. I even told somebody about it though, because it's proof. I'm not lying about it. I told somebody what to do to hit them people up in Salvador that just to hide for a moment, and they were gonna come over here. And it happened, you know. Weird shit that started happening around this time too. My girl got locked up. When I was in that one place with all the computers, one more thing that came out. Where I said I finally found basically a terrorist and shit after all the questioning, and I told them, if y'all still don't believe me, this was now no more in my mind talking. This was me and my boys talking. I said, if y'all don't believe me, el hombre más buscado se va a entregar mañana. I said that shit out loud to everybody. Alright? Woke up the next day, El Chapo turned himself in. And how is that coincidence? I don't know. I guess you can say one time it's coincidence, right? But this was after the dude said that had my dad's name, and said you're never gonna see me again, and this and that, you know. All right, cool. El hombre más buscado se entregó el día after that. And that was coincidence, okay? But then my girl got locked up, and I went into the room and I started meditating. I told my homeboys about it. Close the door, turn off the lights, give me a moment. And they know about this shit, and they'll tell you about it. This is real life shit event that happened. I went in the room, I started praying, meditating, and I said, all right, if I don't let my girl out, he's gonna come back out. Next day, he came out, he escaped. My girl came out, they let her go after that. They were gonna deport her, they let her go after that. What was the coincidence in that? You know, second time in a row that I speak of Chapo's name, and he doesn't act as I say, you know? And in the end, that's when they send him over here after that, you know. Like I said, it's just pure coincidence, or maybe not. It's shit that I've been able to do, you know. It's shit that happens that I could say, and it happens. I don't know if y'all remember the hurricane that was gonna hit Mexico a couple of years back. My girl, ex-girl, she had family there, and she told me last minute, she told me I have family that's gonna get hit by that hole. In my heart, I talked to God with all assurance, and I told God, how do you want me to lead my people if you're gonna destroy the home where I come from? And boom, that hole disappeared. There's no explanation to it. You know, the hurricane is gonna hit Mexico, and it disappeared right in front of it. Right after I said that shit. And it's still coincidence to me. But that's just a lot of things happen, you know, and people don't even know what coincidence is. You know, I've been given a lot of vision thanks to this being that came back after I died, I guess. I've seen how Mexico, the war happened. I've seen where we're headed. I've seen who we are, you know. And y'all motherfuckers need to be proud, you know. We fought a war for 500 years. They could never take us down for 500 years. And people didn't understand how we created the Mexican, you know what I mean? For 500 years, we took in the Spaniard. We gave him the life of a king for 1 year. Gave him kids, everything. And then sacrificed his ass, you know? And then, you know, sent his kids back to his people, you know. That created the Mexican. As soon as there was enough Mexicans out there where we can blend in and come out, we came out, you know. The war was going on, but now we blended the race so we can blend in within the race, and we survived. We're still out here. You know, that's strategy mentality that people don't show you. You know, that's war. But we played that game for 500 years, and now we out here. We did it again. You know what I'm saying? We did the Chicanos, you know. Now we out here. We blending in out here. You know, this is, you want to play war with us? You know, we play war for 500 years, nigga. We play war for 1,000 years, 2,000 years. This is our game. We're the builders. We're the constructors. You know, we're the soldiers. And now they can't stop us no more. You know, I explained to you how we did it back then. I explained to you how we did it now. You know, if y'all want to kick us out, and it's all good, because now I'm here and I can guide my people now. You know, and I'm strong enough to say that shit. And whatever's gonna come out of the darkness, come on out. You know, because this shit ain't got nothing on me. You know, I don't need my mind. All I need is my heart. But one thing with that I want to showcase, let everybody know how stupid we've been. You know, when I was going through this, my uncle told me we need to go to Rome. I never understood why, but this is the time when all that shit was happening. And then it finally makes sense. You know, he's been in war. He knows, you know, stuff, military stuff. And this is how all our people are blinded, and how we all became Catholics, and how we pray now to the Rome, make Rome stronger. It was not a physical war. It's a spiritual conquest. We used to have what we prayed to, what we'd understood as God's, if you want to call that, deities, or what we acknowledge our heritage. You know what I mean? Where we come from. And we respect your belief on the other side of the world, whatever you believe, where you come from. But we had ours over here, you know. And when they came and the war happened, they took everything. And then all that shit is in Rome, and under a church, basically, the Pope. And they have all the heritage, all the wisdom, all the books in gold, books in blood, books in everything, of my people, of my heritage, of my culture. They have 2,000 years of knowledge, minimum, of my people in that room. And now, 500 years later, they got us praying to beat him, Jesus, and all this. And it's fine, and I accept your way and what you look forward to, but I think it's time you let free, you know, free my culture, free who I am, because Mexicans out here are lost. They don't know who they are, where they come from, and you have that shit under your church, you know. And basically the Aztec is in a cell, you know what I mean? Because this nigga knows the minute those books are studied and all that shit is seen, you know, the Aztec is gonna come back to life, you know, and they fear that shit. He never died, you know, just like Quetzalcoatl, they say, is the last survivor of Atlantis. People don't know that shit, you know, and he taught our people everything, and they got this shit locked up, and they don't want to give us our freedom. So you decide, you know, if you want to, you know, keep praying to something that's out there that you don't have no understanding, or you basically acknowledge that you know, until they let that prisoner out, all them books, all of my culture out of cell, we're not gonna know who we are, and we're gonna be lost and stranded, and we're gonna follow everybody, and I think it's time, you know what I mean? And you have all that shit information, we're gonna recoup and we're gonna come back, and the Aztec is back, you know what I mean? And that's just me, you know, out here representing for all my people, explaining what I've been fighting through, and, you know, promoting my website, you know, cddd.us, you know. I'm out here. I hope y'all see and understand what I've been going through, and you know, I wasn't just, you know, speaking to myself, you know, when I was doing crazy shit, you know, I was theorizing, you know, trying to program artificial intelligence and doing things, you know, so recording shit that would happen, and just playing with time, you know, and playing with actions and just manipulating shit, you know, just because I was smart enough to understand what I'm facing out here, you know. Man, y'all need to go cop my new shirt, Aztec Fighter. I'm finna see that shit as a takeover, man. I'm back, man. I'm finna start recording again. And, you know, like I said, man, y'all wanna fear Illuminati shit? Y'all wanna hear, fuck all that shit. If, any artist out there that's been through this shit, y'all know what the fuck, you know what I mean? And I ain't no little bitch. Y'all little bitches signing contracts, you know what I'm saying? But we gonna do it one way or another. I'm gonna eat, you know what I'm saying? And now I can share my story. My people can see a Mexican out here came to the U.S. and he faced the devil himself, and you know what I'm saying? He said, where he at? And I'm still waiting, you know what I mean? Where's the date? I'll see y'all later, man, when it comes to it.